Okay. Are you a Russian speaker? No? You're a mridanga player, though, aren't you? Okay. Well, let's try. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Caitanya Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Caitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jai Gaura Nitai. Jai Gaura Nitai, Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Vishnavad, Paramahans, and Paravrajacharyas, Samad. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. Iskon Samstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki. Shri Pancha Tattva ki. Shri Nrsingadev Bhagavan ki. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki. Godbrathers. Slav Sabrosam Spreadnam. Slav Sabrosam Spreadnam. Slav Sabrosam Spreadnam. Slav Shri Guru Ishi Gauranga. Say Slav Srila Prabhupada.
Oh. Everybody speak Russian, so you shouldn't speak Russian.
Really?
Because somebody will be wrong.
Okay. Понятно. Он приказал мне прямо сейчас. Я не могу говорить по-русски. Это хорошо, потому что мой русский это что? Очень необычный. Опасный русский. Okay, all right then. Потому что я могу говорить по-английски, если вы хотите. Well, all right. As I understand, I am meant to say, or try to say, a few words for maybe a few minutes. Я слышал. Кто-то. Вы знаете, кто-то. Он сказал. Anyway, я могу. No. But actually, the thing is, Devamrita Maharaj is meant to speak now.
No. I'm listening.
На самом деле, да.
Well, you know, the main thing, sure, is we want to hear, at least I want to hear, but I think we want to hear Niranjana Maharaj lead Kirtan. Это правда? Да. Очень да. Anyway, okay, I'll say something. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ke. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ke. Well, yes, okay. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachade Shatarane Vanchikalpatarubhyas Chakripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, well, I'm very happy indeed. In fact, it's hard to express how happy I am to be here with you all. Really, it's just a very special occasion for me, because I haven't seen Niranjan Maharaj for 1 year. That was the day, the evening, His Holiness Vishwavasu Maharaj was given sannyas. Jai, Vishwavasu Maharaj ki jai. Yes, right. Niranjan Maharaj and I used to see each other regularly, but I think my association got too much for him. It made him sick, so he had to go to hospital. Anyway, okay. So, yes, well, Well, I thought of a couple of things about Lord Caitanya, about Lord Nityananda. And it's very interesting. There's the famous song, I think we've all heard it, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kara More. Слышите там? Oh, okay. Он не говорит очень громко. Okay. So the song starts like that my dear Lord Caitanya, please be merciful to me. Toma vinake dayalu jagata samsare. Other than you, who can be merciful in this world of birth and death? And then Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar, you have come because you're the deliverer of the most fallen. And Mosamo Patita Prabhu Na Pai Paya, and me, I am the most fallen, so therefore my right to your mercy is the greatest. And then he says, Ha Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi. Oh, my dear Lord Nityananda, you're always absorbed in the happiness of Krishna Prema. Kripa Bolo Kanakoro. What is it? Ami Baruduki. And so you also please be merciful to me, because I am very miserable and suffering in this material world. And then he sings Dayakara Sitapati Advaita Gosai, Tava Kripa Bole Pai, Chaitanya Nitai. And you also, Advaita Acharya, you also please be merciful to me. Yes, because I know you're very merciful, because you called out for Lord Caitanya and Lord Nityananda to come, and they came. Then he refers to the 6 Goswamis and other great associates. And the idea is, it seems, that you also please be merciful to me. Then it says, Dayakara Sri Acharya, Prabhu Srinivas, and then Srinivas Acharya, you also please be merciful to me. Ramachandra Sangamage, Narottam Das, you please, Srinivas Acharya, please let me have the association of your disciple, Ramachandra Kaviraj. So the thing is, at least, a point which occurred to me, is that he begins, Narottam Das Thakur begins by saying, "My dear Lord Caitanya, be merciful to me, and other than you, no one else can be merciful in this material world." But then he addresses Lord Nityananda, "You also be merciful to me." Then Advaita Acharya, "You also be merciful to me." And then the 6 Goswamis and so on. And then Srinivasa Acharya, "All of you, please be merciful to me." But how can all of these others be merciful to me if Lord Caitanya is the only one in this world who can be merciful? Interesný vopros, što vy думаете? Vy думали об этом раньше? Anyway, я думал об этом. Interesný moment. So the thing is, I mean, at least it seems to me, is that all these others, and even so many others, they can also be merciful to us because they're carrying the mercy of Lord Caitanya. Yes, it's not like Lord Chaitanya is the only one, everybody else somehow or other has their own little reservoir of mercy. So Lord Nityananda, of course, Lord Nityananda is very special devotee. And as far as he's concerned, he's just giving Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Yes, like with Jagai and Madai, they're very famous people who got the mercy of Lord Chaitanya through the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And actually Lord Chaitanya handed them over to Lord Nityananda. Yeah, and Lord Nityananda delivered them in just very amazing and wonderful ways. And there are numerous accounts of Lord Nityananda's great mercy. You know the story, right? You know the story of how Lord Nityananda delivered the leader of the dacoits. Помните, да? Да? Или да? Да, конечно. And at the beginning of the description in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur says, "Listen, my dear devotees, how I describe how Lord Nityananda delivered the most fallen." Sometimes devotees feel or express the idea that I'm the most fallen. And one time a devotee said like that to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada, I am just the most fallen. And Srila Prabhupada responded, actually, you are not the most anything. You are simply insignificant. Because to be the most fallen, that is a big achievement, sure. Gosh, you're competing with some real experts. Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, and numerous others. So none of us can sort of truly claim to be the most fallen. Actually, we are just sort of, what would you say, kind of ordinary fallen. Just normal, normalna.
Просто нормальные.
Yes, right. There's a very nice little incident regarding Srivas Thakur that, well, first of all, during the Kirtan one evening at Srivas Angan, then one of Srivas Thakur's sons, somehow or other, passed away. And it happened out the back where there weren't many people at all. But Srivas Thakur, he noticed that his wife and some of the other ladies, they appeared distressed. And so he asked what happened. And his wife explained, one of our sons just passed away just now. And Srivas Thakur very, very, you could say very strongly said, don't make a fuss about it. Just act like everything is normal. Because Lord Chaitanya's going to have his kirtan. We don't want to have him become disturbed. So Malini, Srivas Thakur's wife, and her other assistant ladies there, they all acted like everything was the way it was every evening at kirtan time. And then the kirtan went on all night, and then in the morning, Lord Chaitanya noticed that Malini, some of the ladies, were actually upset. And Srivas Thakur explained that actually, just when the kirtan was beginning, one of our sons somehow just passed away. And Lord Chaitanya said, well, why didn't you tell me? And Lord Nityananda came up and he heard that also. And Lord Chaitanya said, you should have told us. But Srivas Thakur said, no, I didn't want to disturb you. I wanted so you could just have nice kirtan through the evening. And Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they were just so moved by this. Lord Chaitanya said, just for my sake, you tolerated this great distress. And then he and Lord Nityananda said that, so now you just lost one son. Well, you know what? The two of us are now going to become your sons. You lost one, now you've got two. And particularly Lord Nityananda, he rarely interacted with Malini and Srivas, but particularly Malini, just like he was her son. Yes, he would come like on a daily basis practically. Очень часто, да? Каждый день. Понимаете мой английский? Yeah, right. And he would act like he was, you see these innocent little boys, sometimes they're like 2 years old. They can just walk. You see them around here and there. And they just walk around, no clothes on, and normal now. Yeah. So Lord Nityananda would do the same thing. And he'd come to Malini, and she would have to, he would insist, and she would have to breastfeed him. Yeah, and this was just going on every day. And there were a number of incidents. Не очень много, но нисколько. Yeah. And finally, after some time, Lord Nityananda moved into their house. Right. Yeah. Okay, so one day Lord Chaitanya came to Srivas Thakur and he decided, I will test him. So Lord Chaitanya said to Srivas Thakur, I think you're making a big mistake keeping this Avaduta fellow here. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows where he's from. Nobody knows what his family background is, what his caste is. And he's such an extraordinary fellow. You're an extremely respectable senior member of the Brahmin Vaishnav community, if you don't watch out, this fellow's so unusual, he'll become an embarrassment for you. And you will lose your good name, your good reputation. So look, I'm telling you, send him out. Just boot him out. And Srivas Thakur said to Lord Caitanya, my Lord, please don't test me like this. This Nityananda, he is just the most exalted person. Actually, this Nityananda, he is so special and so elevated that even if he went into a drinking house and just stayed there for hours, still I would simply worship his lotus feet, because he is just the most wonderful of your devotees. And Lord Caitanya heard that, and Lord Caitanya was extremely happy. You've told me such wonderful, wonderful things. So because you have such faith in Nityananda, I want to give you a blessing that even if Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, somehow or other in the future becomes like a penniless bankrupt, your house will never ever know any financial difficulty. And any member of your family will just go back to Godhead. Any member of the group of servants and assistants you have, they'll also go back to Godhead. Even your dogs will go back to Godhead. This is because you have such faith in Lord Nityananda. So it's a nice little story, one of my favorite little stories. Sri Nityananda Prabhu ke, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ke. Adna minuta, adin second. Prastichamane. Too long, I spoke too long. Isvanija Prastichamane. Okay. Sri Nityananda Prabhu ke. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ke. So, я не знаю, что делать. Какая наша программа? Но у меня есть идея. Может быть, Niranjana Maharaj может петь Kirtan. Or Devamrita Maharaj can at least say something. Or
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Gaur Nitai, Gaur Nitai, Gaur Nitai, Jai Gaur Nitai. Jai Panchatattva, 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 Jai Panchatattva. Go Premanandi, Nitai, go Premanandi, Nitai, go Premanandi. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. After that exciting presentation by His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Maharaj, describing what's happening at the house of Srivas Thakur, I thought to go right there with another pastime at the house of Srivas Thakur. But first, a little talk about the Panchatattva and Lord Nityananda's role in the Panchatattva. We should not consider Lord Nityananda separate from the Panchatattva. He and Advaita Acharya are masters, but they are subordinate to the Supreme Master, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can't separate this package, this quintet. The one supreme absolute truth is appearing in 5 distinct varieties. Sometimes people think oh, you worship many gods. But the Panchatattva requires some deep understanding to see how all the 5 aspects form one, complete one. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes how when Krishna came to display his pastimes, he certainly brought love of Krishna with him, but the package was sealed. But with the appearance of the Panchatattva, the package was broken open and the contents plundered and freely distributed to everyone. Why 5 of the Panchatattva? Because of 2 main reasons. Krishna, the complete whole, wants to show 5 different varieties of pleasure, transcendental pleasure. The variegatedness of the Panchatattva is eternal. They all form the supreme absolute truth in eternal variety. Krishna knows how to enjoy. Just like in material life, we think variety is so necessary. There's one saying in English, variety is the spice of life. In the spiritual world, the varieties are unlimited and eternal. So as the Panchatattva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is enjoying in 5 distinct different ways. But these 5 different tattvas, these 5 different truths form oneness. The oneness is eternal because they're all on the absolute, pure spiritual platform. And the variegatedness is eternal. So that's the first reason. Tasting spiritual variety. You must grant Krishna that privilege. Otherwise, how can we understand the supreme absolute truth? But that's just the first reason. The second reason is to challenge the impersonalist Mayavadis. They say everything is one, pure oneness. So Krishna says, all right, I'll come as 5. That is some of the mystery of the Panchatattva. Now, which comes first, the mercy of Lord Caitanya or the mercy of Lord Nityananda? I've done a study of Caitanya Charitamrita and Caitanya Bhagavat as best as I could. There's statements going both ways. Just like in the song by Narottam Das Thakur, Gauranga Bolite Habe Pulakasharya. First, Lord, you surrendered to Lord Caitanya. Akabe nitai chande karana hoibe, samsara vasana mora kabe tucha habe. And then Nityananda helps to extinguish all your material desires. But sometimes it's said that the glories of Lord Caitanya are expanded by Lord Nityananda. And when Lord Nityananda approves of you, then you can approach Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So these 2 are doing such teamwork. Sometimes it's hard to decide whose mercy comes first. In the case of Jagai and Madhai, perhaps it was easier to see. But it seems to be Lord Nityananda's doing. But who sent Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur on this preaching mission? It was Lord Caitanya. Now, Prabhupada uses this Leela in a very interesting way to show that the more sinful people are, the more there is opportunity to serve Lord Caitanya, Lord Nityananda. This is reverse thinking as we would see it. We would think if people are so sinful, stay away from them, find better persons. But when Nityananda encountered Jagai and Madhai, and people told Nityananda and Haridas, oh, don't go near those 2, they're most sinful. And what was Nityananda Prabhu's response? As Prabhupada tells it, so sinful? Ah, big opportunity for service.
Они большие грешники.
So Prabhupada further commented that in such situations that seem difficult, one goes on with the efforts to spread Lord Chaitanya's mission. Not that we think, oh, they're too sinful, it's too difficult, let me stop. Nityananda thought, they're so sinful, if I deliver them, my master, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, will be glorified. The more sinful, the better in one way. The more service there is. But let's go to Navadvip. Before Lord Chaitanya began his distribution of love of Krishna, Vrindavan Das Thakur reports that mostly Lord Chaitanya would never stay at home. He was always at some Vaishnava's house. Sometimes he would come home and do some external duties. And what was Nityananda doing? Going door to door in an ecstatic, intoxicated state of love of Krishna. What was Gadadhar Pandit doing? He would always stick in the association of Vishwambara, Lord Chaitanya. And what about Srivas Thakur? We'll go to his house now, seeking the blessings of His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj. We'll tell another pastime that happened in the house of Srivas Thakur. Advaita Acharya was there, lost in ecstasy, crying out, "Gopi, Gopi!" He's rolling on the ground with a Gopi Baba lament. This went on for 6 hours. Devotees, they're having a kirtan and he's roaring like that, "Gopi, Gopi." The devotees were getting exhausted after 6 hours. So they sat around him. They made a circle around him so he would calm down. Don't worry, you'll see how Lord Nityananda enters this situation. So Advaita Acharya calmed down a bit, and then Srivas and Ramai left for taking bath. Advaita Acharya started resuming his ecstasies of Gopi Baba lamentation, alone rolling in the courtyard of Srivas Thakur's house. Vishwambara, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, became aware of this. He knows everything, but this is Leela. Things happen at the right time. So Vishwambara comes to the house of Srivas Thakur, and there's Advaita Acharya rolling on the ground, chanting "Gopi, Gopi." Lord Chaitanya catches him by the arm and takes him into the temple room in the house and closes the door with both of them inside. "Acharya, what do you want?" Advaita Acharya said, "I know you are Vedasar, the essence of the Vedas. I know that by all the Vedas it is you to be known." Lord Chaitanya said, "But exactly, tell me exactly what you want." Advaita Acharya said, "I want to see your opulence. I want to see the Virat Roop, what Arjuna saw on the battlefield of Kurukshetra." As soon as he said that, the universal form appeared. The battlefield scene, the chariot, four-handed Narayan on the chariot, countless universes, mountains, oceans, millions upon millions of hands and eyes and legs. Advaita Acharya was totally lost in ecstasy. He said, "I am your servant, I am your servant." Nityananda was roaming around Nadia in his usual intoxicated state of ecstasy. Nityananda decided he wanted in on the action. He came to the house of Srivas Thakur. He went to the door to the temple room, which was closed, and he began roaring. Can you roar like Nityananda? Hari! Hari! Lord Chaitanya inside the temple room knew who's out there. He opened the door, and Nityananda saw the Virat Roop, the universal form, and collapsed on the ground with his eyes closed. And then Lord Chaitanya picked Lord Nityananda off the floor. The vision of the universal form is still there. And Lord Chaitanya is calling out, "Look, look!" And Advaita Acharya and Nityananda are crying out, "Prabhu, Prabhu!" And they began dancing in ecstasy. So Lord Chaitanya withdrew that vision and went home. Nityananda and Advaita Acharya are still dancing, and they went out to the courtyard continuing to dance, swaying back and forth. One would clap and sing, the other would dance, overflooded with transcendental joy. Didn't last long like that. Time for another variety. Part 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead quarrels with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What do you think about that? Talking about transcendental variegatedness. Now they're going to apparently abuse one another. Advaitacharya says, "You intoxicated Avaduta, who invited you here?" You'll find them quarreling, those two, throughout Caitanya Charitamrita and Caitanya Bhagavat. Even at prasad time, they'll argue, they'll quarrel. That's another Leela. So Advaitacharya is saying, you forced your way in. Who invited you? You broke down the door. Nityananda says, watch out what you're saying. I can punch you. Advaitacharya says, just get out of here. You associate with people who eat meat, fish, and eggs. Just get out of here. Nityananda said, you're an old man. How can you talk like that with pride? I am an intoxicated Avaduta. And you are a gross materialist with a wife and children. Advaitacharya then comments on Srivas Thakur. This Srivas Thakur is so liberal, he just lets anyone in the house. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that Srivas Thakur just focused on Vaishnava characteristics, not caste. So he welcomed Vaishnavas to his home without any caste distinction. So Advaitacharya says, that's how this guy gets in. Because of the liberality of Srivas Thakur. How do you understand such variegatedness? It can seem very difficult. Vrindavan Das Thakur instructs, if you take the side of Advaitacharya and neglect Lord Nityananda, or vice versa, you will be ruined. If you criticize one and praise the other, you'll be ruined. You have to see the situation as the Supreme Personality of Godhead quarreling with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and tasting transcendental pleasure in that variegatedness. Finally, I would like to bring you to 1976 when there was a controversy in ISKCON. Sometimes it happens. You see, sometimes devotees take things out of context and out of proportion and just focus on that. So in 1976, there was a fad in ISKCON. Just focus on Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala, the lotus feet of Nityananda. That's all you need to do. You see, if Bhakti is such, the science of Bhakti is such that if you take one element out and magnify it out of proportion, out of place, there's some kind of distortion or imbalance that results. I remember visiting a temple. It was St. Louis, 1976, and the devotees were just, the lotus feet of Nityananda, the lotus feet of Nityananda. And many devotees were thinking, oh, this is very advanced. They're just focusing on Nitai Parakamala to the exclusion of everything else. How glorious is their focus. This controversy reached the attention of Srila Prabhupada, as everything did back then. So I will read to you Prabhupada's response, a letter to Makanal Prabhu. This is clarifying the situation, especially for younger devotees. Then I will conclude with something for senior devotees, and everyone else can shut their ears. Something I shared with His Holiness Niranjana Maharaj earlier today. I don't know if he had a chance to read it.
Его святейшеством Ниранджана Свами. Успел он это прочитать или нет?
First, let me read for the younger devotees Prabhupada's instructions. Putting everything in perspective about Nityananda's lotus feet. He writes, Nityananda is the principle of the Guru. So the Guru Deva is the incarnation of Nityananda. Anyone strictly following the instruction of the Guru is following Nityananda. The price one has to pay, if he wants to become Krishna conscious, is that he must dedicate himself to following the order of the spiritual master. If the spiritual master is pleased with his disciple, then the blessings of Guru will be there. That is the best way to become Krishna conscious. And Krishna is non-different from Nityananda. You may pray to Lord Nityananda to help you become dedicated in the service of your Guru. Krishna consciousness cannot be achieved artificially. You should approach Nityananda Prabhu through your spiritual master. So finally, everyone else except senior devotees, close your ears.
Senior devotees, close your ears. Senior devotees.
Everyone
close.
except.
Oh, everyone except.
You're lucky I don't know Russian. This is from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Are you ready? Your ears are closed? But Nityananda does not directly instruct in the confidential service of Krishna. Srimati Radhika is the guru of the inner circle of the servants of Krishna. Srimati Radhika, however, accepts the offer of service of only those souls who are specially favored by Nityananda and are deemed by him to be fit for her service. Therefore, there is a most intimate relationship between the function of Nityananda and that of Srimati Radhika. Jai Nitai! Jai Nitai! Jai Nitai! Go Premanandi! We have time for a Kirtan by His Holiness Niranjana Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you both, Bhakti Caitanya Maharaj and Devamrita Maharaj, for speaking about Lord Nityananda tonight. I feel I should offer a small apology to the devotees. If you're feeling a little inconvenienced tonight, it's my fault. There was suggested that many devotees may come this evening, and I said, and it was suggested that we go to the park. But you'll have to forgive me. I chose to not go there, and my opinion was sought after. And I like the closer atmosphere. My experience from the older days when I used to travel to the big cities in the former Soviet Union. We didn't have any temples back then, so we always had to rent halls. That was the only thing. It was either a sports hall or an auditorium.
Это все, что у нас было.
And there was always a stage and seats. And I found myself having to sit on the stage, and all the devotees were sitting on the seats. For me, that went on many years, at least until everything fell and we started to have some places to congregate. So over those years, I actually developed an aversion to being on the stage and everybody else sitting in seats out in the audience. I haven't recovered yet. I still have this aversion to it because the stage, usually people think that they're going to be entertained. And the last thing I personally want to do is to entertain you. Even when I was asked in the early days to be part of the theater group back in 1973. And I was trying out for a drama in the Old Boston Temple. And I was asked to play a particular part. I think it was Rikasura. Anyways, I was given a line to play. And the devotee who was organizing the drama said, I'm not very good with entertainment. So I have this aversion to it. So I expected that this might happen, but forgive me. I didn't really want to go to the park. So I take full responsibility for your inconvenience. And as was suggested, there would probably be a lot of devotees coming tonight. I've suggested if you want to have it in the park next time, just don't ask me. I like this better.
Okay.
That's okay, that won't happen anyway. No, this is a sit-down kirtan. No, if you feel inclined to get up and dance, please contain yourself. So, yeah, and the reason is because you'll end up downstairs in my room, which means I'll have to sleep up here tonight. So, yeah, especially if you jump up and down simultaneously. So that is a small request. Maharaj, I was thinking, well, actually both of you discussed this topic. That verse in Caitanya Charitamrita, Chapter 7, Adi Lila, Pancha Tattva Eka Vastu Nahi Kichu Beda, Rasa Asvadite Tabu Vividhani Beda. That on the transcendental platform, that there are 5 tattvas, and on the transcendental platform, there's no difference because it's absolute. And then, yet in order to experience the varieties of the spiritual world, one has to distinguish between them in order to taste the spiritual varieties. And it was a wonderful point that you brought out about how this tasting these varieties, that although Supreme Lord is one, He manifests as 5 in order to taste. And I was remembering, maybe you were in 1973. Do you remember when the BBT published Lord Caitanya in 5 features? It was 7th chapter, Adi Lila. And I remember in 1973, for the marathon, the only books we had for distribution were Lord Caitanya in 5 features. And Prabhupada, of course, it was such a perfect arrangement, because it's just as you said, Lord Caitanya came to defeat the Mayavadis, the impersonalists, it's all one, and show them.
You know why that book came out the way it did?
Why?
Prabhupada said, this chapter is so important to defeat the impersonalists, it must be printed on its own immediately.
I thought you might have a statement from Prabhupada in that connection.
Причина.
I just remember standing in front of a supermarket during the marathon. And it's the only books we had for distribution. Before that, we had the Back to Godhead and Reservoir of Pleasure. There was nothing else. BBT sent all the temples for that marathon. Lord Caitanya in 5 features. With the picture of Lord Caitanya sitting down with before Prakasananda Saraswati. And I remember that it was that marathon. We were going out and we were collecting donations and giving out books, and the donations we were requesting for was with a sticker on the can. It said, "Don't waste human life, give to the Hare Krishna movement." And we were giving out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of those books. So it's Prabhupada's strategy to try to help the impersonalists and the Mayavadis to become free from their conception if it's all one. The fifth verse. It's the 5th verse of chapter 7. The 6th verse is what? Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. That Lord offers his obeisances to Lord Krishna, who appears in 5 features. As the devotee, the expansion of a devotee, the incarnation of the devotee, and as the pure devotee, and as the devotional energy. And as you so rightly and nicely presented, the mood of all the others is that of service. And that certainly was Nityananda's mood. What is it? Vrindavan Das Thakur describes him in the Nityanandastakam as Lord Nityananda as the root of pure devotional service. The root supports the tree. Without the root, there's no nourishment, no support for the tree. So he also serves the Lord in all different ways. He serves in Shantaras, because he's no different than Lord Balaram. And all the whole spiritual world is all a manifestation coming from him. Serves as a friend, serves in parental affection, as a servant, and he even expands, as Balaram expands also into serve the Lord as an Angamanjari. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that, and Vrindavan Das Thakur, that there is no difference between Lord Balaram and Lord Nityananda. So I thought I should say a few words. So, thank you, both. That's one of my favorite pastimes, also Bhakti Caitanya Maharaj. That you told about Lord Nityananda, how he became the son of Malini. There's one other thing. He also, isn't that the same time then also that when the Lord Caitanya told Srivas Pandit, he said, I think you should take sannyas. And he said, was that the same pastime? Was it a different pastime? It's a little bit different. I thought it was the same pastime. He said, I think you should take, that's right, it's a little bit different. He said, I'll tie a rope around my neck and drown myself in the Ganga. And that's when he said, what do you mean you'll tie a rope around your neck and drown yourself in the Ganga? Don't you know that I will carry everything personally, even if the goddess of fortune becomes impoverished. Yes. I will carry everything on my head.
Я на голове принесу все.
My favorite best, one of my favorite best. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamane. Saraswati Deve Gauravani Charine Sesa Samyavadi Paschatya Desa Tarne. Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, Haribo. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Panchatattva, 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 Jaya Panchatattva. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Kirtan. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Paramajakacharya, Sada Sata Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Shri Bhakti Swami Maharaj, Shri Prabhupada Ki. Jaya Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Paramajakacharya, Sada Sata Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Kota Vaishnavrinda Ki. ISKCON founder the Chai, His Divine Grace, Shri Prabhupada Ki. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki. Aim Sikaho Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Siddhi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Govardhan Chama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Jamuna Mai Ki. Tulsi Devi Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Sankirtan Yagya Ki. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Gopremananda. Glorious see the assembled devotees. Glorious see the assembled devotees. All glorious see the assembled devotees. All glorious to Shri Guru, Shri Guru.